Welcome into Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. My name is Madelyn Burke, alongside the Super Bowl champion Amani Toomer. A cold and windy day at MetLife Stadium as the Giants fell to the visiting Green Bay Packers 27-20 in the first game with interim head coach Mike Kafka at the helm. That's not the only change we saw this week, Amani. Jameis Winston, the starting quarterback in this one. What were your impressions on what you saw from Jameis?
Well, I thought that he came out with a lot of energy. I think that the first drive, them going down and scoring, it just showed that this team has a lot of fight in it. And also, it was good to see guys like Jalin Hyatt out there and Hodgins getting out there for the first time right off the practice squad from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think there's a lot to, obviously the game could have been more for desired. At the end there, Jalin Hyatt looked like a little miscommunication that could have prevented that last interception to give the team an opportunity to tie it and to go into overtime. But I felt like the effort was there. The effort on this team is there, and that's one of the things that you look at in these type of intern situations where the head coach is gone. There's an interim head coach. You wonder how the team's going to react, and this was a sign that the team is going to keep on fighting and playing the rest of the season out in a way that this fan group can be really
right. There was a lot of effort on the field. You mentioned that last play or that last drive as well. The Giants, the Packers had just scored, gone for two, up 27-20. Giants going down the field. Jameis Winston looking for Jalin Hyatt in the end zone, picked off in the end zone, and that was all but over from there. But, other than the passing game, the running game really was working for the Giants. Devin Singletary, 2 rushing touchdowns. Jameis Winston ran in 1 as well. They were able to establish the run early in this one. How beneficial was that for us?
Oh, it was really beneficial. Took a lot of pressure off of the passing game and Jameis Winston. I think Theo Johnson added some good receptions in there. Of course, he's really good in the inline blocking in the run game. So there's a lot of positives to take away from this game. You look at the Green Bay Packers; they're one of the best teams in the NFL. And so, this team obviously has some issues, has some struggles, but to measure yourself up against the best, it's always a good opportunity to kind of measure yourself, and it shows you that this team isn't too far off.
Right, and the amount of changes that this team underwent this week as well. You mentioned Isaiah Hodgins, obviously a familiar face around the Giants practice facility, a pivotal part of that 2022 team, but coming in, signed off the Steelers practice squad this week, getting the start, and 6 targets, 5 catches on the day. A pretty efficient day for him. Yeah,
I always look at that. We always talk about that, Madelyn. When you're a receiver that they don't have to throw the ball to that much, you can come up with that type of production. I always get weary when I see 10 targets and 3 catches. That's a lot of plays that you're leaving out there that the offense doesn't have to be productive. So when you get a guy like that, you hold on to him. I think it's a second time around with the Giants. Very happy to see him back on the roster, and hopefully he can keep on that production and give the quarterback, whoever's going to be over the next couple of weeks, an opportunity to see a reliable, good route-running receiver.
Yeah, some positives in this game, a heartbreaker of a loss still as the Giants fall to the Packers 27-20. For another perspective on this one, let's send it down to the field where Paul Dottino and Brandon London are standing by with more. Guys, what did you see?
Well, we could already see some of the changes in the Giants' offensive game plan today, Brandon. Yeah. We saw Jalin Hyatt emerge from the shadows and catch a couple of passes for 18 yards after only 3 catches this entire season with only 6 appearances. And how about Isaiah Hodgins, who had just joined the Giants on Thursday, was with the team last year, comes back and catches 5 passes for 57 yards. What about the difficulty in him just getting here a couple of days ago off the Pittsburgh practice squad and being productive?
In the NFL, it's a copycat league, Paul. So the fact that he was able to come in here and be familiar with the offense that he's already been in is expected. I remember when Jason Garrett was offensive coordinator, he used to say a Hank is a Hank is a Hank, which is a curl flat. The league, we run the same concepts, just different terminology. You can tell he was in the playbook. He got with his quarterback, and Jameis Winston got comfortable, and that showed. 5 catches for 57 yards. He really led this team in the passing game.
Yeah, including a key 4th down in the fourth quarter that gave the Giants the lead on a touchdown drive. Now, what about Hyatt? After being lurking in the shadows, being scratched for almost half of the games this year, he comes out, and his concentration to be a starter today and get some things done.
Yeah, you got to keep your head up in this league. You know that. Again, a game of opportunity. So the fact that he was able to have a connection with Jameis Winston throughout the spring and the summer, because they both were 2s and 3s on the depth chart, now when you get a chance to step up and be a starter full time, that chemistry is there, that comfortability is there, and you saw that today with him having those 2 catches that were both first downs, I believe.
Now, another change in the offense. We saw defensive tackle Elijah Chapman activated off the practice squad today, gets his first action. He's in there as the fullback in the goal line jumbo package and blocked effectively on one of Singletary's touchdowns.
Yeah, you see a lot of offenses do that throughout the league, but when we talk about making a team or being able to make the 53-man roster, the more you can do. And the fact that he is a defensive lineman but is able to be hybrid and crossover, that's what they love about this kid, plus his hustle, as we saw him put that on tape last year running down the screen. But the fact that he can do that, they're going to find a way to keep him, one, on the 53, but also keep him active and get some reps, both on the defensive line and as fullback.
So already Mike Kafka in his head coaching debut as interim head coach of the Giants, already making tweaks to the offensive personnel deployment. Let's go back upstairs to you guys.
Thanks so much, Paul Dottino, Brandon London, for the insight. Giants falling to the Packers 27-20 is the final score in the Week 11. We're going to continue to break this one down as the show rolls on, but first, Giants fans, guests of the postgame show receive a gift certificate to Ben & Jack's, located on 44th Street in Manhattan. From the celebrated porterhouse to finer seafood, Ben & Jack's will surpass your expectations of what a steakhouse should be. We've got much more to come on the show. Mike Kafka to the podium after the break here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Time now for today's scoring drive of the game, brought to you by Citizens. For the drive of the game, we bring you to the fourth quarter, 15 plays, 85 yards. Took 7 minutes and 59 seconds off the clock, capped by a 1-yard rushing touchdown by the quarterback, Jameis Winston. And as a reminder, for every scoring drive this game, Citizens, the official bank of the New York Football Giants, will donate $750 to the Giants Foundation to support their work in the community. That drive gave the Giants a 20-19 lead in the fourth, but of course, they would fall to the visiting Green Bay Packers 27-20, the final score. Welcome back, Giants Postgame Live. Madelyn, Burke with Super Bowl champions Amani, Toomer, and Carl Banks. Banksy, we got to get you talking defense out here because as a defensive player, when you look at the way that the Giants defense showed up today, what stands out to you?
Stands out is just it's a little more of the same, right? And they couldn't get it when they needed it. And to me, I think the offense has more resolve than the defense. Like, they came out, they stopped the run in the second half, but then when you need your best part of your team to show up, they don't. And you got to be complimentary. When you're in a position like this team is, it can't be one side of the ball carries the other side, or you take the field again with a lead. You just got to close it out. They bring 6 people on a blitz. The quarterback throws a jump ball. It's anybody's ball, and their guy comes down with it. So it's tough. It's just tough continuing to see the same pattern over and over again.
And it's tough, too, because you look at, individual success, like Brian Burns getting another sack today. He's got 12 on the season, or 2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
2 sacks on the day. Yeah, 2 sacks on the day. So he now has 13 on the season. That's a career high for a season total. It's Week 11. When you've got efficiency like that from an individual player, how does the unit as a whole, how does the rising tide raise all ships?
Well, I think it's tough. You want the team to win, and it's a team game. But when somebody is having an outstanding season and the wins aren't coming, it's very hard to deal with, because internally, of course, it's an individual sport in terms of when you go to the general manager, when you go to try and negotiate your contract, they're all individuals. But, the team concept is really what makes everybody else around you. So it's a very slippery slope. He can't act too happy. He has to just kind of go on, and it's a very interesting way to deal with things, having a great year on a bad team.
Yeah, and the bad part about that is there's no example that they are he's the example and they're not following it. And, it's a shame, because there were spurts of the game. Dexter Lawrence was outright disruptive at times. But they just never all put it together. And that's when, you invest that much money in that side of the ball, and yet the side of the ball with the least skill set and the least money invested in it are the ones that just kept going. They just kept fighting. And it's it's unfortunate. It just is. And, you see some guys that are doing really well, like Burns. Dex had a great, 3 quarters. I don't know how he did in the 4th quarter, but he was disruptive. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But then your rookie is taking bad angles, losing contain, and almost like he's hunting sacks, right? And so they just got to be more disciplined all the way around.
Well, you mentioned hunting sacks too, because that's the number that I think fans cling to, and the masses and the lay fan will cling to, even though there are so many more numbers and contributions to the game. Is that something that you've got to kind of coach, especially the young guys, of, hey, don't chase the sexy stat,
just be where you're supposed to be. That's the only way. It's a team sport now. You're not playing tennis, right? Yeah. You're not chasing points. You got to do your job, and that other stuff will come.
Yeah. Do the job, other stuff will come. All right, we've got more to come. We're going to take a quick time out, but want to remind you guys, join the Giants family for the 2026 season with a season ticket membership. Lock in your seats today. Just scan the QR code on your screen or visit giants.com/tickets to secure your seats now. After the break, interim head coach Mike Kafka heads to the podium. More to come here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Giants fans, it's Moody's. Decode risk, unlock opportunity. Learn more at moodys.com. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. The Giants falling to the visiting Green Bay Packers 27-20 in Week 11. Madelyn, Burke alongside the Super Bowl champion Amani, Toomer, the Super Bowl champion Carl Banks. A lot of changes coming into this week. Obviously, we talked about interim head coach Mike Kafka stepping up. Jameis Winston starting at quarterback. Tim Kelly, the tight ends coach, ascending to offensive coordinator this week. One of the differences that I noticed on the field is the Giants were running a bit more of a screen game in this one, Amani. We saw that a lot in the preseason, not so much in the first part of the season. Yeah. What made that effective today?
Well, one thing you got to do is one thing affects another. So if you're running the ball as effectively as the Giants did today, you're going to force the defense, the linebackers and the defense to try and crowd the line a little bit more. And that's where you get the screen. They're going to be coming towards the line. You slip somebody behind them in the screen, and that's how you get that screen game going. So everything works together. So the fact that their running game was working so well, and the fact that they were able to, drop back and hit a few passes and be a little more consistent than they have been over the last couple of weeks, that to me is why the screen game works. And I don't know, I felt like there's a lot, there was a different energy today, and hopefully they can keep improving upon that in the next couple of weeks.
It felt like to me that they weren't going to go for a lot of explosive plays, more so than, hey, let's focus on keeping the offense on schedule, take what they give us, but we stay in these manageable down and distance. Yeah. And stay out of penalty situations, which they did for a large part, and it worked well for them. But the screen game was part of that because they took some basic average yardage and just turned it into an explosive.
Yeah. And being able to turn nothing into something in those circumstances. We saw Tyrone Tracy do that a couple of times where he made lemonade out of what seemed like a play that was, down at the line of scrimmage. Sure. When you see that effectiveness in that game, I mean, talk a little bit about what you saw from the backs today.
All I can tell you is the resolve of this offense is something that should be contagious. They just continue every week. Yeah. They just continue to say, look, we're going to get you everything we got, and hopefully it'll be enough.
Yeah, and there's a perfect example of that was in that last drive before Jameis threw the interception. They throw the ball to Tyrone Tracy, and he's kind of held up in the middle of the field. You saw Jameis Winston running down the field trying to do a tush push and get a little extra yards.
Yeah.
Most quarterbacks don't do that type of thing, but it wasn't just him. It was the entire offense pushing, which it just shows you the intent of these guys. Yeah. Don't tell me about how hard you want to play. Show me, and that to me was a play that showed their intent of this
that
team.
Last drive in general, too. I mean, talk about that 4th and 2 play. Isaiah Hodgins with that catch. Jameis Winston with a well-placed ball there, too. You hear how guys talk about how Jameis Winston calls a play in the huddle like he's telling a secret. Obviously, this guy brings a lot of joy and energy to the field, and you could see that. Unfortunately, the Giants falling short. 27-20 is the final score. For more, let's send it down to interim head coach Mike Kafka, who's stepping to the podium to address the media.
All right. Afternoon, everyone.
What'd you see on the interception at the end there?
Yeah, I'm going to go back and look at the tape on it. I didn't get a good picture off the replay. I'll go back and look at it, but here's what I do like is that our guys were playing aggressive, and Jameis had an aggressive mindset all day, and I think he's trying to give his guy a chance right there at the end in the end zone to go score touchdowns. But I'll go look at it and see what happened exactly.
It looked like Jalen kind of stopped his route a little bit. Did you talk to him at all on the sideline?
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance because we were just kind of on to the next one, and just so I have to go back and look at the tape and see if that was the case.
What's going on with your defense here? I mean, this seems to be a theme this year with the fourth quarter.
Our defense is battling, playing their butts off, and just at the end of it, we got to make a couple more plays. But I really like how we approached it today. Aggressive mentality across the board. There were some one-on-one opportunities on the back end and the front end that we got to make, and I'm going to continue to challenge those guys to do that in practice, and it'll eventually turn over for us.
Is that something that you talked to Shane about this week, about an aggressive mentality that maybe he has not?
It's something I talked to the whole team about, just staying aggressive no matter the situation, and that's what's going to get us over the hump.
How did the win factor into the way that you called the game today?
It was a factor. It's something we talked about, special teams, defense, offense, just kind of knowing where we at field position-wise. So, certain direction might have affected a little bit more, another direction not as much. But our game plan was our game plan. I thought our guys went out there, just came up a couple plays short.
You were obviously aggressive, too, with the fourth down plays. Why is being aggressive going to get you over the hump?
Yeah, we want to be, regardless, we want to be aggressive. And that's to me, as a former player, being around a lot of good play callers, head coaches, like you want to have aggressive mentality on offense and defense, special teams. So that's really the messaging throughout, and continue to be aggressive, whether it's one-on-one situations, whether it's by play call or whether just by style of play. I want that to be a stamp of what our team's about.
Why didn't Abdul play on the opening drive?
That was a coach's decision. That's something we talked about, and I wanted to make sure that was my decision. So we'll just keep the rest of that in-house.
Disciplinarily?
Yeah, we'll keep the rest of that in-house. This was a coach's decision for me, and talk to that Abdul.
Mike, there were a number of cases where you had a pile, and the pile moved in your team's favor. What did that say about effort beyond the execution?
Yeah, I love the effort our guys play with. Love it, and we're going to continue to stress it. It's what we're about. It's finishing longer than the guy with the football. That's what we're about, offensive, defensively, and special teams wise. And you saw that. We got to continue to make that a staple of us, and the consistency throughout the work week and practice.
Are you trying to set an example there with Abdul and obviously you said coach's decision there with not playing him on the opening drive? He played every other snap the rest of the game.
Yeah, he played his butt off. He practiced his tail off, played his butt off. I'm really happy about Abdul and excited to watch him continue to grow and continue to play a lot more as a pro.
And back to the original question was, are you trying to set an example there? Is that important to you to do that to the rest of the team? Whatever he was, that's not acceptable.
I love Abdul and what he brings to this team, the skill set he has. This guy loves ball. And, I'm excited again to watch him attack this week of practice and continue to work and grow and be the great player that I think he is.
What kind of adjustments did you have to make now that you're the head coach versus your previous role as the assistant head coach?
Can you say that again?
What kind of adjustments did you had to make being the head coach this week versus your previous role?
Yeah, you're talking a little bit more with the special teams and defense. You're still working with the staff and just communicating and collaborating and getting everyone on the same page. But those are probably just the two things off the top of my head. Just a little bit more communication with the rest of the coaches and players on the other side of the ball.
What was your message to the defense before they went out for that? What wound up being the go-ahead touchdown there?
Yeah, let's go get it. Attack, be aggressive, and let's go get the ball back.
Were they aggressive enough, did you think?
I thought they played really aggressive. I really did, and we'll make some more plays. We'll continue to work at it. But I like the style in which we called it, in which we played it.
What was it like for you today overall, just in general? How unusual or comfortable were you?
I haven't had a chance to really go back and think about it yet. Still fresh off the game. So we'll go back and evaluate it, but look at some of the things that we got to improve on and have those focused for the remainder of the week.
You plan to go for 2? You scored on that last drive?
Yes.
Mike, was there ever a point today where before the game, you looked around and you said to yourself, I'm a head coach in the National Football League for the first time. Just emotionally, when did that feel like to you?
No, my focus was on the game. My focus was on the players, putting them in the best positions, and again, just thinking through, how we were going to play the game. Again, talking about some of the weather stuff, some of the substitution stuff. So that's really all my focus was, just on the game.
Mike, is there a way to get your team to make game-winning plays? You know what I mean? I mean, like on defense, Love has a lot of time, then Burns gets late pressure. The ball just floats up there, and Cordell Flott is there, and he doesn't make a play. If he makes a play, maybe you win the game. So is there a way, repeatedly to see if your team can make those plays instead of not?
Absolutely. We're gonna keep on stressing it. We're gonna keep on working our tail off in practice and keep on putting our guys in those situations because I believe in them. And I think we get more opportunities at those plays, we're gonna make them.
Mike, Jackson was here today. He was on the field before the game. So your expectation that he clears before next week's game against the Lions?
I don't want to get too far ahead on that. I know he's still in the protocol, so we'll just kind of play it as the protocol goes with the doctors.
I mean, he's here, so I imagine if
we had our whole practice squad here. We had anybody that was up on the sideline to help create some energy, be a great sounding board for our team. We're all in this thing together, so those guys are a part of the group, and so they'll all be here for home games as long as we can because those guys are a critical part of the team.
Mike, you said you liked how aggressive Jameis was, but overall, how would you assess his play overall?
I don't think there's any much else I would add on Jameis. I just got to watch the tape, but I love where his mindset was the entire game. He was very positive. I thought he was completing a lot of footballs. I thought when he had opportunities downfield, he took them, right? And that's just kind of my snapshot view, but I like where Jameis was at. At no point was there any kind of indecision. He was very decisive and played and managed the game and got us in and out of good looks, got in and out of plays on the line of scrimmage, handled that tempo very well. So I was happy with Jameis.
Just to get back to Ian's question about sort of taking it all in, do you think there will be a moment when that will happen? When you'll?
I'm sure there will be. Not right now, but I'm sure there will be at some time.
Nick Jones was in at slot corner.
Sorry, say that again.
Nick Jones was in. What prompted that change?
Yeah, the defense. They wanted to make a substitution there for just to put him at nickel. It was a good idea. I think he did a nice job, made a nice little play there on 3rd and 2.
Mike, I know you have to watch the tape, but ultimately, what was the difference today?
I'm going to go back again, like I said, watch the tape. I think there's some one-on-one opportunities that we could have taken advantage of. And, we'll look at it, see what those plays were, where those players were, and then see how we can work out it fundamentally, kind of go back to, all right, how can we make this thing better? And really just be really, really critical of that as a staff, really, really be critical of that as a player unit and a leadership group, and then go get those corrections fixed.
What was it like having Isaiah Hodgins back this week?
Isaiah, man, I'm so proud of him, stepping up on a short week, short notice, coming in on a Thursday, and being a huge part of the offense, critical 4th downs, critical 3rd downs, critical blocks on the perimeter. This guy just stepped up. I'm super proud of him and happy we have him.
What about your running game today? It looked like it was, everything was pushing forward a little bit. It was a pretty good defense you're playing.
Yeah, the run game went. We'll look at the tape again and evaluate, what we did well, what we didn't do well. But they came downhill. We adjusted kind of early from some of the outside zone stuff, a little bit more downhill stuff, and our O-line, accepted that challenge versus a really good front. I thought I had some good production of it. I don't have the exact number of it, but Trace and Motor ran well. The O-line ran well. So we'll just go back and look at it and see what the overall looked like.
Mike, I know that you're happy with their aggressiveness and some of the adjustments on defense, but at the end of the day, you guys lost this one, and the defense gave up a game-losing touchdown drive to end it again in the 4th quarter. Will you reevaluate or evaluate your defensive staff and potential changes there, either at coordinator or in play calling?
And that's the beauty of football. It's a team game. It's never about one person or one side of the ball. Every unit had opportunities to make plays, and so it's a team game. And it's the best team game in all of sports. So we're going to look at it. We're going to evaluate everything. We're going to evaluate all the players, evaluate all the coaches, the calls, be hypercritical of that, and then find out those areas where we can be better and knock those things out. And that's what we're going to do this week in practice. So it's all of us. It's all of us together on it, and we're going to get arm in arm and go get back to work. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
That sound from Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka, brought to you by Ford. Back on the set here with Carl Banks and Amani Toomer. We heard Mike Kafka talking about, praising the energy of this team, praising the decisiveness of Jameis Winston. Sorry, it's so cold I can't move my face. Jameis Winston in his first start of the season, and of course, putting the team in an opportunity to tie the game up. It didn't work out, threw an interception in the end zone. But Carl, what did you see on that last play?
Well, I had to ask offensive guys, because when you see that pylon throw, or the post corner, if they call it, I'm like, okay, did he stop his route, or is that a sight adjust? And I'm like, I can only ask somebody who played for Kevin Gilbride and with Eli Manning, because you guys had certain things y'all had to be on the same page with, but people were saying he's got to run the route.
Yeah, it's a corner route. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with Mike Kafka, but in my experience, I've never run a corner route as an option. So if you run the corner route and the quarterback is expecting you to run a corner, even if you're not open, you have to run the route
to break it up.
To break up the reason why they're on defense, because they can't catch.
Yeah.
So you got to go over there and do anything to distract them from making that catch, because that gives your offense another opportunity to win the game.
And that kind of explains why Jalen Hyatt is limited with his time on the field. When you can't make those types of decisions in those situations, you gotta execute the plan.
But in Jalen Hyatt's defense, right? This is a guy that hasn't played a lot of football.
So he didn't think they were going to throw it to him.
He didn't not that he didn't think they were going to throw it to him, but those are the things that you learn over being on the field.
Well, yeah.
He hasn't had the opportunity to be on the field, so it's kind of stunted his growth as a player. And I'm very anxious to see what Jalen Hyatt is going to do in the future.
I want him to be a very developed player, because I don't think he's a bust.
I was super excited when they went up and get him. I just haven't seen him on the field. Now I feel we got that opportunity, and I hope that he takes this opportunity to play and flush all the things that happened before, because right now the opportunity is here for him, and I'm rooting for him with all my heart, because I know what kind of game breaker he could be as a player.
Right, and those moments on the field, there's some that you love, there's some you want back, and you learn more, I think, from the things that go wrong than the things that go right.
Like Amani said, it comes with experience. When you're out there, you get a feel for it, and you get in the flow of it, then you kind of are more locked in.
Yeah, and if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's true.
We got more to come here on the show. Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health, rolls on after the break. We've got more, but first, download the all-new Giants mobile app for breaking news and exclusive videos. It's updated with a brand new layout, plus the Giants Shorts feed and the Pocket Game Day Ticket Holders Hub. Download it for free at the App Store or Google Play. After the break, running back Devin Singletary, who had 2 touchdowns on the day, speaks to the media. That and more on Giants Postgame Live. Time now for the HCL Player of the Game, brought to you by HCL Tech, supercharging progress, the official digital transformation partner of the New York Football Giants. The Player of the Game, Giants running back Devin Singletary, 44 rushing yards on 16 attempts with 2 touchdowns. It's his 3rd career 2-touchdown game. Devin Singletary, the HCL Tech Player of the Game, as the Giants fall to the visiting Packers 27-20 in Week 11. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live. For more, let's send it down to the locker room where our Paul Dottino is with Devin Singletary.
Devin, first got to get your thoughts on interim coach Mike Kafka and how he handled the entire bench as well as the offense today.
Yeah, man, I think he did a great job. But we expected that.
What kind of feel might have been different with the change?
It was more even kill. Wasn't a lot of, no matter what was going on, everybody was even kill. I think that was the biggest difference.
It looked like you guys were really able to establish a run against a team that doesn't give up much on the ground. How proud of you guys are of that factor?
I'm very proud, man. The big guys up front, you know what I'm saying, they was moving guys, you know what I'm saying. But, we expected that. We knew they was capable of that. And me and Trace, all we had to do was run. Even the receivers got in on it. The tight ends got in on all the dirty work. So that was big for us today.
You get the go-ahead touchdown there early in the 4th quarter. And again, unfortunately, it slipped away. What goes through your mind and your stomach as you see this happen again?
Yeah, man, sick. It's a sick feeling. That's never a good feeling, especially when you know what I'm saying, we had a good chance at winning it, but we all was sick about that one.
And then finally, Jameis Winston did, obviously 4th quarter, you guys get the lead again. Credit to him for a guy who hadn't played all season.
Yeah, man, J-Bo great, man. You know, he brings it every day. He's been the same guy since he walked in the building. All us, we just tried our best to rally behind him, you know, and he gave us a chance to win.
Thank you, Devin.
Yeah, definitely.
That's Giants running back Devin Singletary. Sorry, I'm warming my face to the hot pad. I thought we'd have full screen there. Giants running back Devin Singletary, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. His 3rd career 2-touchdown day as the Giants fall to the Packers 27-20. Amani, as we heard Paul asking Singletary about this, he said, hey, how does it feel to establish the run game against a team in the Packers who don't normally give up that much rushing yards? And for a Giants team that has been, you know, struggling to get that run game going up and down, it's got to be a good note for this offense.
Yeah, it's a good sign when your offensive line is moving people around and you're able to get the running backs loose in the secondary and get some into the open field. And, you know, he also mentioned the receivers blocking. So obviously this team has a lot of fight left in it, more so on the offensive side maybe than on the defensive side, but that can change in a minute. So I just feel like you look at this team and their deficiencies aren't in the effort and they aren't in the coaching ability of anything. It's just this team needs to get a couple wins on the board, and then the momentum is like a snowball, and you never know what's going to happen over the last couple weeks of the season. And, you know, we can make it so that, you know, this season will be a season that everybody can be proud of instead of embarrassed about.
And it's tough, too, because they say the toughest word in the English language is almost. Almost getting the win, almost getting the touchdown, almost getting in there. The Giants have had so many of those almost moments this season. If you're in this locker room, how do you keep this team pushing forward?
Yeah, it's professional football, right? Everybody at some point you have to look at your own career, and you don't get that many opportunities. And now, since it's an interim coach situation, you have to make sure that when the new coach comes in, that when he looks around the locker room and he watches the film of the last year's season, he doesn't see you as a player that's giving up. And so right now, you have to play even harder because you have to, your NFL mortality is on the line no matter who you are. So it's one of those situations where if you really got to buckle down hard and push, even though you're not going to get any rewards in terms of going to the playoffs or anything like that, you still have to fight.
Yeah, you're showing up for your teammates and for yourself and for your own integrity and love of the game week in and week out. We've got more to come as we continue to break this one down here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. After the break, Giants quarterback Jameis Winston to the podium.
I saw that timing and execution is so important in this game. And when you don't have the reps with some of your teammates, you got to capitalize on those moments and continue to work even harder and find solutions, because when the game really matters, timing and execution is the most important thing.
Jameis, how did you feel out there, your first start?
So grateful, man. I was so grateful. I really wanted to win for these guys, man. How we dominated the line of scrimmage, man. We ran the ball effectively. We did some good things in the passing game. Kaf did an incredible job calling this game, man. I really wanted to win this one for us.
Important first drive, kind of got you back in the groove, to start the game.
Yeah, man. I think our coaches do a great job of studying the opponent and putting us in great situations, and it's just our job to execute it and play good football.
Kafka was in here. He was very positive even in the loss. Do you sense that that's what he's trying to do to establish an attitude about staying positive?
Yeah, Kaf is very poised, and he played the quarterback position, and he saw great fighting in our team. We fought hard, we fought to the end. It was unfortunate that we finished the way that we did, man. That's why I really wanted to win this game, and I'm just gonna keep getting better, man. But Kaf is a great coach, man. He brought great energy, and it's tough that we didn't pull it out.
Talking about that energy, and Kafka talked about aggressive mentality being really important. How much of a shift do you notice under his regime?
Yeah, man, I think this team wants it. We're right there close in these games, man. But when you got a leader that's optimistic, that has drive, and has that player perspective. He's probably been in our situation before. So I'm just grateful to have a head ball coach who brings that optimism, brings that energy and leadership.
What do you think the key is to being able to win some of these close games in the fourth quarter?
Simplicity to me, finishing out like as a team. You know, all of us collectively can do one small thing to continue to get better, to finish this game, you know, and I think that's the important thing. We're right there at the end of it. We just have to finish the game, and we'll find a way to finish because it's required. It's required to finish in this league.
That sound from quarterback Jameis Winston, brought to you by Ford, the official vehicle of the New York Football Giants. As we take a look at a quarterback comparison from Sunday, Jameis, 65.5% completion percentage for 201 passing yards. No passing touchdowns. He did have a rushing touchdown as the Giants fall to the Packers 27-20. For more, let's send it down to the locker room. Wan'Dale Robinson, Giants wide receiver, speaking now.
Was there much of a different vibe on the sideline with a new head guy running the bench?
I mean, it was just calm. It wasn't like anybody was out there overreacting about anything or nothing like that, but nothing too crazy at the end of the day, nothing too much of a difference.
Was there anything schematically that you guys had worked on that was dramatically different this week compared to what you had been doing all season?
No, not really. I mean, I would just say we just had more time in the meeting rooms and stuff like that, but we were still trying to run the ball and trying to find some spacing plays and stuff like that, just depending on what coverages they were in. So.
Your thoughts on Jameis Winston, who hadn't played it down all regular season and comes in and obviously got the ball downfield a number of times?
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought Jameis played well. I mean, obviously he's probably going to want a couple of those throws back, but I think Jameis played well.
As Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 catches for 36 yards on the day, saying, you know what, I thought Jameis played well. We heard Jameis talking earlier about how grateful he was to have that opportunity to be out there. Wan'Dale, of course, heavily relied on target, 9 targets for Jameis. When you look at how productive he's been in the slot so far this season, what do you make of Wan'Dale?
I think that he's come a long way from the first couple years. I think he's kind of coming into his own. He has a long way to go. But I think he's one of the young players that everybody wants to see really blossom over the next couple games and the next couple of years. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of player he can turn out to be. He looks like he has the right attitude. And, I feel like there's a couple plays there where that he had opportunity to make, but didn't create enough separation and let the defender knock a ball away. I remember one specifically down in the end zone.
Yeah, there are a couple of moments in any given game that are a razor's edge and define the outcome, and the Giants falling to the Packers 27-20 is the final score. We've got more to come here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence, talking next.
Encouraging, challenging leaders to, go make the play that needs to be made. And I think that's the biggest thing. We just got to make those plays that, that's our plays.
You obviously made a statement by setting that goal for the first drive. Did the players have to say anything, convey anything to him?
No.
Can you appreciate that an interim coach put that, showed that level of accountability, sitting one of his best players for the first drive?
That's just how it goes sometimes, man. Like, I don't think it's who the coach is or who the coach isn't. It's just how it goes.
Did you as a captain feel the need to say anything to him or anything like that?
To who?
Abdul?
About?
Sitting the first series, it seems like it might have been disciplinary.
No, just go make the plays that come to you, man, and be the star that you are. That's it.
That sound from Dexter Lawrence, brought to you by Ford. We heard Dex saying, you know what, just got to go make the plays. We talked about it earlier in the show with Carl Banks about how, the defensive side of the ball, Carl mentioned, needing to finish a little bit more. But when you look at what's happening on the defensive side of the ball, how do you address that?
I think the only way you can address it is you can't worry about what you didn't do. You just got to focus in on you put more effort out there. I think in football, one of the things that you can cover everything with is a little bit more aggression, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So just keep on fighting, keep on trying, and just put more effort out there because they're close in many respects. But then there are situations where the best part of this defense is their defensive line, and they weren't able to get pressure at key times during this last drive that Love really got an opportunity to survey the field, and that's where the strength of this team really is. So being more consistent, throwing more effort at it, I think that's a way that this team can improve.
And be able to apply more pressure consistently for this Giants defense. All right, the Giants falling to the visiting Packers 27-20, but November is Salute to Service Month, and today the Giants did celebrate and honor the military in several different ways. They had a flyover before the game, as we see right here, gave a dog to a veteran, and much more as we honor the military in Salute to Service. More to come here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Week 11 in the books. Week 12, we turn the page. The Giants on the road in Detroit, taking on the Lions Sunday, November 23rd at 1 p.m. Welcome back to the set. Madelyn, Burke, and the Super Bowl champion Amani, Toomer here. Amani, Giants coming off a tough loss, but the first thing you want to do when you lose a game is get right back on the field. The Giants have an opportunity next week in Detroit against a Lions team that's playing Sunday night football in Week 11, so we don't know what their Week 11 outcome was just yet. But what do you make of this matchup?
Well, you have another quality NFC North team coming into. We're going to be going over to Detroit and playing, and just like you want to get back on the horse, but you also want to measure yourself up against another of the best teams in the league, and that is the Detroit Lions. I'm very interested to see how they compete. We know how they competed here today, which was not good enough, but it was. I thought the effort was there. Now they're going to go on the road in a hostile environment, Ford Field, and we're going to see how that whole thing turns out.
Absolutely, and questions remain whether or not Jackson Dart, who was out with a concussion today, will be back at quarterback for the Giants. If he's not, assuming Jameis Winston will start again. But Jared Goff, of course, the Lions quarterback, has been having quite the season as we take a look at his numbers here. 74% completion percentage, 20 touchdowns to 3 picks. He's got a career high in QBR and completion percentage, Amani.
Yeah, I just don't know what QBR is. Like, how do they manage all those statistics? But anyway,
it's math.
It's a lot of math, but I think he's having a great season. But I feel like it's another opportunity for this defense to play against one of the better players in the league, having one of his career year. And, the better competition is going to make this team better coming next year and for the weeks on for the rest of the season.
And they play in a dome, so it won't be as cold and windy as it is out here on this field and on this set. But you know what? Thanks for hanging with us today as we recap this show, as we do every week after Giants games. Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. A chilly postgame show, Monty, but we did it.
We did it. Absolutely.
27-20 is the final score. The Green Bay Packers defeating the Giants. A quick congratulations to Sean O'Hara, coaching the Franklin Lakes War Eagles to their Super Bowl. So hat tip to Sean O'Hara, another regular on Giants Postgame Live.
Take this hat off, it is too cold.
Right, we'll see you back here after every Giants game this season. For Amani, Toomer, I'm Madelyn Burke.